Hello there. Welcome to my show, COVID-19 update by Heerak for May 14, 2020. So today we have an exciting show for you. As you know, I'm celebrating my graduation. Hoya 2020. So, as you know, I'm celebrating my graduation from my clinical nurse leader program, master's program at Georgetown School of Nursing. Woo! Congratulations to all my fellow cohort members, 2020 CNL, who are also graduating. We have a commencement ceremony on Saturday at 1 p.m. And so you can check out this hashtag at Georgetown, and you can actually watch our commencement. So I invite all of you to watch our commencement on Saturday at 1 p.m. It's going to be Facebook Live. So yeah, so be part of the joy of Heerak, Christian Kim, and his cohort members. So today we're going to talk about COVID-19, obviously. And we're going to talk about Kappa Delta Pi, which was in Norfolk, Virginia in October. I presented some papers on education. So you'll see some photos from there, which will be a lot of fun. And also learn a little bit more about education. So hope you'll stay until the end and not miss out on anything. Yeah, something important for you to learn for your children, especially as you teach them at home. Don't you just love this song? And you will see why I'm playing this song for you later on. I heard West Virginia is beautiful. I've never been, but I've heard it's beautiful. Mila, who's part of our cohort 2020 in CNL, she went to West Virginia and she said it was amazing. So I'm really looking forward to visiting Virginia and seeing what West Virginia is like. And yeah, so I'm pretty excited about graduation. Yay! Congratulations to me. Congratulations to all my cohort members and clinical nurse leader. I love you guys. So our summer term begins again. Oh my gosh, we only had 1 week off. As I told you, we have like a practicum, and so our summer semester starts back next week. So there's only like a couple more days left. So we only had like 1 week between final exam and the start of new semester. So yeah, but I'm gonna celebrate and have fun, in the next few days before we start back up again. Yay! Congratulations to me. Congratulations to Neela. Congratulations to every single core members in our program who are celebrating. Maybe I don't know. If we didn't have COVID, I would have probably gone down to West Virginia. You know, oh my gosh, I've heard it's beautiful. And yeah. Anyway, actually, to be honest with you, had we not had COVID, I would have probably flown to some country and flown back. Like Latvia or Poland or somewhere. I don't know. But yeah, 1 week is kind of short though. So maybe just like go to Florida with my court members, a CNL clinical nurse leader, 2020 core members. Maybe we could have like done like a week in Florida together as a core, like it's graduation like trip. But anyway, that's kind of out the window because of COVID. COVID has changed the lives of everyone, And that's just it's very sad, what COVID has done. Um, you know, um, yeah, during public health nursing clinic in Arlington County Public Health, we were going to present our project to all the nurses in Arlington County Public Schools, and school nurses bureau chief set that up for us, but unfortunately, because of COVID, we couldn't do that. So it's kind of sad. And the bureau chief is amazing. She's a wonderful person. So hello, how are you? Hope you're doing fine. So we're it's sad what's going on because right now I just tweeted a while back. We're at the epicenter of COVID-19 death. So the most number of deaths is in Fairfax County. In Arlington and Alexandria are all on top five, and you know, and so I'm predicting that in a few weeks we're going to have about 200 to 300 people in this area die every day, like in June sometime, and we're going to have about 1,000 people die, uh, possibly, every day in like July or June, because the problem is this, right? Things are opening up, which means a lot of people, if they're not using protection, are going to get infected. So, and that's why I think I'm not over exaggerating to say that we can see 1,000 people die per day, like in June or July, and we're going to have about 200 to 300 deaths in this area. Yeah, I don't think that's unrealistic, uh, given the fact that a lot of places are opening up. Virginia is opening up. Maryland's opening up, and we don't have in the masks, 95 masks, and people don't really know what's going to happen when you open up. So it's like a big mystery. So I think we're not going to notice it for about 2 to 3 weeks, but in month time, it's going to all start hitting us all at once. And so we'll see like 1,000 people die per day. I mean, that's what I'm predicting. Let's see. Hopefully I'm wrong. I'm happy to be wrong in this point, but I don't think I'm going to be wrong. But let's see. Let's see. Um, but you heard me say it here, and a month later, if I'm wrong, I'll admit it. But I don't think I will be. So we'll see. Today, I don't know if you watched the Senate hearings for May 14th, but the one of the formal experts dealing with epidemics um, was saying that we're going to have a horrible winter. A lot of people are going to die, and he wasn't very optimistic about the future, short term or long term. And so, I think he may even agree with me. There could be a lot of deaths in the summer as well. We'll see. This is like a new virus and no one understands, so we don't know what's going to happen. But yeah. So anyway, I am wearing Kappa Delta Pi shirt. Do you see that? I'm wearing my Kappa Delta Pi shirt. And so yeah, I mean, today we're gonna celebrate my graduation. Yeah, congratulations to me. Congratulations to my cohort members. Congratulations to everyone who's graduating. Yay! And so, yeah, I'm gonna, talk about a lot of fun things today. So stay tuned. Yeah, I'm there right there with Kappa Delta Pi. So before we go, I guess I should introduce you to Kappa Delta Pi for those people who don't know what it is. Kappa Delta Pi is International Honor Society in education. So education students, who maintain like a certain GPA. I think you need you need, I don't know the exact GPA you need to maintain, but I have 4.0. I graduated from University of West Georgia um, with it's a 2-year master's program that I finished in like 6 months. Yeah. I mean, I think it was like, yeah, it was like 6 months. I think it was like 6 months. Maybe it was a little bit longer than 6 months. But yeah, I finished 2 year program like in record time. You know, it's like a 2 year program. Most people take 2 years to do it. But you know, I'm the Leonardo da Vinci of my generation. So I finished the 2 year program like in 6 months or 8 months or something like that. So yeah, and I had 4.0. I got a straight A's on that one, you know. So yeah, and yeah, and so right now I'm working on my doctorate of education, focusing on clinical supervision by principals of teachers. So you know, I have a license as an administrator, so I can be a principal or a vice principal in Washington D.C. So you know, I have that license, and so I'm currently working on my doctorate of education at American College of Education, which is in Indiana. Hi everyone. Hi President Chan. I'm the vice president of the Kappa Delta Pi chapter at American College of Education, which is in Indiana. And obviously it's American College of Education, so they produce a lot of teachers. That's their primary focus, although they have a nursing master's program, MSN, Master of Science in Nursing as well. But yeah, but they focus primarily on education. So I get nursing education counts too, I guess. You know, so yes, all kinds of education, executive education, you know, leadership education. You could do a doctorate in um, higher education, like to be a university president. And you know, I was thinking about doing the university track because you know, I one of the things that I want to do in my life is become president of Harvard University. You heard it. You heard it here. So, well, I mean, I have several things that I want to accomplish in my lifetime. And one of them is to become president of Harvard University. You know, I mean, there really aren't anybody as competent as me, multidiscipline wise. So it's a logical thing for Harvard to make me their president. I've studied at Harvard. I've done a doctoral level research at Harvard with Professor John Levinson, who's the Liz Professor of Jewish Studies. I've shared that with you. And I've also worked with Professor James Kugel, who's an Orthodox Jew, and he's a world's, some say, #1 expert on Hebrew poetry. And he made his mark discussing parallelism in Hebrew poetry. So I took his doctoral seminar at Harvard in the Near Eastern Languages and Cultures department. And, you know, it was a course on Hebrew poetry, obviously. And Professor James Kugler loved me, you know. You know, I'm so good at what I do. I was like the best student in his class. I was bringing like, you know, I bring in all kinds of knowledge that I have, and those PhD students in Jewish studies at Harvard, I was running circles around them. They're like, "We're not worthy. We're not worthy." And they're all Orthodox Jews. Like, you know, I was like I think I might have been like the only non-Jew. Maybe there might have been like one other non-Jew, but yeah, like everybody's like half the class is like Haredi, they're like ultra religious, and they all did like 2 years of yeshiva in Israel, like the really Orthodox ones. You know, they lived in Mea Shearim, which is an ultra Orthodox neighborhood, and they're doing PhD at Harvard because Professor James Kugel is like that. He's ultra Orthodox, and so he's like Haredi kind of. He's that really Orthodox. So you know, 50% of the class were like him. You know, they're ultra Orthodox. You know, from Eastern Europe. You know, their grandfather is a famous rabbi in Poland, or a famous rabbi in like Latvia, or famous rabbi in Russia. You know, like people with pedigree, right? I mean, they could, like people in Jewish community, ultra Orthodox community know them. Because their relatives are so famous, in the Jewish religious world. So, I was studying with these people, and like, I was running circles around them. I'm sure they're better than me in like Talmud, which is the Jewish law, rabbinic text interpretation on biblical material. But the class was on Hebrew poetry in Tanakh, or in the Hebrew Bible, which is the Old Testament. And so I'm very good at that. So I was running circles around people, and Professor Kugel loved me, which made all my Jewish colleagues jealous. They probably hated me. Like, how Joseph's brothers hated him. They probably hated me. No, I'm sure they liked me because people love me. But some of them were jealous because I was so good at what I do. This is one of the curse of being a Leonardo da Vinci of your generation, or of the century, or of the 500 years since Leonardo da Vinci, is that people get jealous at you and people hate you. And I'm like, I mean, what do I deserve to get this kind of animosity from you? I'm just, I'm yeah, I'm the Leonardo da Vinci. I'm not gonna lie, but you know, I mean, let's work together, but some people, when they can't be as good as you are, they just have the physical limitations not to be able to reach that, or they don't have the training. I trained among the best minds in Israel, best minds at Harvard, best minds at Brown University, best minds at Cambridge University, best minds at UCLA, best minds at University of Pennsylvania, best minds at Heidelberg University in Germany, best minds, like, I mean, country to country, you name it. I made my effort to get trained by all of them. It's like, I don't know if you saw, TV show Charmed. They're like these people who are trying to suck the powers out of witches, and then you become the most powerful witch. I'm not a witch, obviously, but it's the same principle. I go and suck the knowledge out of the brightest minds in the world, and then I'm like the super brightest mind because I've sucked the brain power out of Harvard professors, Brown professors, University of Pennsylvania professors, UCLA professors, in Jewish studies I'm talking about, at Cambridge University professor, Hebrew University, and like I'm the super Jewish studies expert. You know what I'm saying? And so, I can run circles around any Jewish expert. I mean, why do you think I have all this power within Jewish studies around the world? I mean, if I were to show Shmo, I would not be given any attention, right? But I'm like a walking demigod in Jewish studies around the world. I mean, I could run circles around any expert. You throw me an expert, I could run circles around them or her. Yeah. I mean, I'm like a walking Jewish studies demigod. And I've worked hard to do that. When I was, at UCLA, I used to research Jewish studies for like nonstop for like 12 hours, literally. I'll go through like, I think the most amount of books I went through were like 20 books in a day. Yes, like French, German, English books, 20 books in a day. Obviously, I think that day I might have worked like 20 hours. Yeah, so, I mean, it's, and so, yeah, I've worked hard to be where I am. I mean, the information that is in my brain, I mean, not too many people could compete with that, and that's why I'm like a Jewish studies demigod among the professors, like when 2,000 professors get together, I'm like a demigod among them. Think about it. I was trained by James Kugel at Harvard. He's like number one person in Hebrew parallelism in Hebrew poetry in the world. And he taught at Harvard for like 40 years, 30 years. He's the top expert on Hebrew poetry and prophetic books. And I was running circles around his PhD students, at Harvard, and so, yeah, I mean, I'm going to share with you like all the brains that I've worked with, and you'll be shocked. I mean, not a single expert of Jewish studies in the world have the level of formal training by the greatest minds that I have. Yeah, I put a lot of effort into it. Not a single one. And they all know it because I could throw the pedigree. And they all will be like, we're unworthy. We're unworthy. In academia, it's all about pedigree, meaning like in economics, if you're a student of Milton Friedman, you know, 9 or 8 out of 10 will have a professor job somewhere really important. So because Milton Friedman is like a demigod of economics, right? So if you want to be in an academic world of the scholarly world, you need to learn from like a demigod in order to be influential in your field. Why do you think I went to Harvard and studied with James Kugel? Because he's a legend. He's a legend. He's like #1 guy in Hebrew poetry. Everybody knows him. When you say Hebrew parallelism, you say James Kugel. Yeah. He retired from Harvard and he's Orthodox. He made Aliyah. He's like, I guess he felt bad living in the diaspora. So after retirement, he permanently moved to Israel, and he wanted to give back to his religious Jewish community. So he became a professor at Bar Ilan University, which is an ultra-Orthodox university in Israel. And I had a lot of friends who are professors at Bar Ilan. When I was living in Israel for 3 years, I worked with Hanan Eshel and Esti Eshel. They're legends too. Like if you're in Jewish studies working on Dead Sea Scrolls, you will know Hanan Eshel and Esti Eshel, and they're like buddies with me. Yeah. They're like among the top 10, 20 professors in Dead Sea Scrolls in the world. But they're ultra Orthodox, and they were professors at Bar Ilan University. Yeah, yeah. My gosh, like I mean, I could throw you name after name of all these experts I've worked with or studied under, researched with. Oh my gosh. This is why I'm a demigod among all the Jewish studies experts in America. When I was working with a top expert in Jewish studies at Claremont Graduate University, which is, I don't know if you know Claremont, but there's a Claremont McKenna College, Scripps College. There's a series of these Claremont colleges. They're like United Methodist Church colleges, like Duke University is United Methodist, Northwestern is United Methodist. But Claremont, McKenna, and all these Claremont colleges in Claremont, California, they're United Methodist owned colleges. And the professors there also, teach for PhD. And so they have a graduate program made up of all those college professors. So it's like almost like in the model of Cambridge University or Oxford University. And obviously I was there working with the brightest minds in Jewish studies at Claremont. Yes. I mean, I am a demigod in Jewish studies for a reason. I work with the greatest minds at Claremont, who are considered the greatest minds in the West Coast. Yes. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Geez, people who are like legends in their own specialization, as you get to the top, you specialize in little things. And I have learned and worked with the brightest and the best minds in the world, literally. So I didn't do a degree at Claremont, but I wanted to suck the knowledge force out of every single expert at Claremont who has expertise. And actually, at Claremont, I got a little greedy, and I said, hey, why confine myself to Jewish studies? There's one of the best experts in African American study, Afro-American studies is there, Vincent Winbush. He was the president of American Academy of Religion, which is the national professional association for all the professors of religious studies in America. Yes, every university, Georgetown University, George Washington University, Catholic University of America, American University, Howard University. Harvard University, every university, if you have a professor of religion, like in Madam Secretary, her husband is a professor of religion at Georgetown, like him. He would be a member of American Academy of Religion. And so I said, at Claremont, you have the former president of American Academy of Religion. I think he was the president at the time that I was there. And so I was like, I have access to the president of American Academy of Religion. He's African American. He's one of the top African American experts in the world, who's an African American studies expert, one of the brightest minds in the African American community. And he's focusing on African American studies. So you could imagine how intelligent he is, right? And so he created this institute at Claremont called Institute for Signifying Scriptures. Yes. And I got a little greedy. I said, why confine myself to Jewish studies? Why? I can become an expert, leading expert in the country in Afro-American studies if I work with them and I build my, research breadth and depth in that field of African-American studies. So I took his doctoral seminar with his PhD students in Afro-American studies at Claremont. Yeah, I did. And he is the director of the Institute for Signifying Scriptures when I was there. So I said, I am going to suck the knowledge force out of him in the field where he is an expert, which is signifying scriptures. So you know what I did? I'm a writer, you might have read my book, Bat Yam, a novel, B-A-T space Y-A-M, a novel. Like Bat Yam, like Bat Yam. It's a city in Jerusalem. Yeah, so if you haven't read it, read that book. But so I said, I'm an author, published author, and I'm a writer. So I'm going to study signifying scripture. But since I'm always studying Bible, like Old Testament, Bible of the Jews, and Christians and Muslims actually. But I said, why don't I do something different? So I said, who is the most important writer in the African American community? Like who has written the most important fiction literature on African American related themes? And obviously there's no other than Toni Morrison. So I said, what is the most important book she published for which she won the Nobel Prize? The Beloved. So I read The Beloved and I researched signifying scripture in the African American community. How does African American community signify scripture? Yes. And then you can actually read this book. The research that I did with Professor Vincent Wimbush, I delivered at the American Academy of Religion Conference, National Conference in Washington, D.C., to a bunch of experts in African American studies. And most of the room was actually African American. Like 80% of the attendees were African American professors teaching like African American studies at University of Virginia or Princeton or Harvard, people like that. And so so I presented my paper. I got that published, and it's called Toni Morrison's Beloved as African American Scripture. So you could Google that, read that. It's on Amazon. You could read it from your library. A lot of libraries have it. University libraries. So one of my expertise is African American scripture. I'm a certified expert in African American scripture because I published in that field. And I've worked with Vincent Wimbush on his field of expertise, signifying scriptures. But I brought something new in, which is Toni Morrison. He works with the Old Testament and the New Testament and how African Americans, signify their identity or scriptural understanding. So he's more in the concept of scripture meaning Bible. But I took it to the next level and I said, how about literature as signifying scripture, or how about scripturalization in literature? And so You should read that book. It's going to inspire you just because it's just amazing. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm the Leonardo da Vinci of 21st century. There's no one like me. No one. In the world. No, there's no one like me in the world right now. Because I go to academic conferences for African American studies too, and not as often as I do for like Jewish studies. But anyway, yeah. So I am legend. But you're so lucky. I've chosen to create this show, COVID-19 Update by Heerak, to save your life and the lives of your children. You're like so lucky. You're so blessed. Oh man. I mean, you guys are like so blessed. Don't miss a single show because this is gonna save you and your children. Now, so Kappa Delta Pi is International Honor Society. So I'm currently working on like doctoral thesis on principal supervision of teachers to improve urban public schools, like, DCPS, District of Columbia Public Schools, New York Public Schools, Los Angeles Public Schools, Atlanta Public Schools, like inner city public school, And as you know, I'm a fifth grade teacher at Savoy Elementary School. Before I came to Georgetown, working full time on my Master's of Science at the School of Nursing and Health Studies with focus on clinical nurse leader. And my students were 100% African American in Anacostia neighborhood, which is the poorest neighborhood in Washington, D.C. And so my doctoral dissertation that I'm working on, it should be published, it should be done like next year. And I should get that published for public consumption by year 2021, I would imagine. Well, that's my timeline right now. But so it's so I'm working on how can principals as academic leaders of their local schools function not merely as managers, but as like academic coaches. So how can we combine the managerial roles of principal with an academic coaching role so that they become visionary leaders? So the framework that I'm using is transformative leadership. So my doctorate focuses on leadership, how to be a leader. And that's why I was like, since I want to be president of Harvard University, maybe I should do my doctorate in higher education, leadership in higher education. How to be a good president at Georgetown University, how to be a good president at Harvard University, So my dissertation would focus on that had I gone that route. But I thought to myself, who really needs my help? I am the Leonardo da Vinci of my generation. Who needs my help the most? And if you visited my website, kim2020.org, you will see that one of the things that I'm concerned about is education. I want to improve education. I want to provide equity in education. So what equity means is in those areas where education is deficient, you bring up the level of education with more effort because they need more effort to bring their education up to the level where suburban public schools are. So because they're lagging further behind and there are more problems. So we call that equity in education. So you can imagine how much research I've done on equity, implicit bias, discrimination of people of color. Yes, I'm an expert in all these fields. And so I'm integrating all my research and knowledge, erudition into my doctoral dissertation. And I've chosen to solve America's problem. because I figure every city has public schools, and you have public schools where you have African American and Hispanic American, who are the lowest performing students, unfortunately, in America right now. So how can I solve the problem of the African American student, the Latino student, Latina student? And so I said, if I'm going to devote my time to solving a problem, I could solve the problem of Harvard people through my doctoral research and education. I've been working on this doctorate for several years. So it's not, I've been working on a doctorate of education for many, many years, full time. Yeah. So, so now I'm at the, basically I'm at the doctoral dissertation research stage. Kind of trying to kind of fine tune my research, but and so so my topic is how to apply clinical supervision by principals of teachers. So you're probably curious, so I'm going to tell you. I don't want to leave you hanging. So in short, it is a principal going and working with a teacher one-to-one. So let's say I'm a principal at Savoy Elementary School. I go to, let's say, one of the teachers. I'll use one of the examples of my colleagues. Mary Louise Delaney is one of my colleagues. We work together in many professional development classes at Savoy. So let's say I'm the principal and Mary Louise is the teacher that I'm working with. I would go in, talk to her. We would have, pre-conference. So I will talk to her, kind of get to know her better on one-to-one level, and hear her concerns, and then explain to her what's going to happen in the process of clinical supervision that I, as a principal, provides for her to help her in the classroom. So, and obviously, a large part of that is listening. And then I go in at a set time that we agree on to her classroom where she's teaching, let's say, a math class to third graders. So I go in, I observe her for 30 minutes, and we may agree to record it in case she wants to see it, or not. If she doesn't feel comfortable, it's fine, And then what I do is I take narrative notes, and we call that formative assessment. Formative meaning it's like, it's not a final assessment. It's like assessment meant to kind of help the person. So it's like an ongoing assessment without any real grade or anything like that. So we call that formative assessment. So I'll take narrative notes while I'm observing her teach for 30 minutes or more. And then, I make bullet points of what we need to discuss. And then we discuss together, we call that post-conference. And I tell her, I thought this was good. I thought that was a little bit problematic. I think that these need to be changed. And so, yeah, so that's in short, like principal clinical supervision. And no grade is actually given at the end. So there's really no final assessment. So final assessment is what we call summative assessment. Like sum is generally like the final, like when you add, you have a sum, right? So summative assessment, it's like a final assessment. So to give you an example of a summative assessment, like SAT exam can be seen like as a summative exam because it's supposed to kind of test you on abilities that you acquired throughout high school. Or, in Virginia, you have these state mandated tests at the end of the semester for all the students. Right now, they're not taking that because of COVID. But those are what we call summative assessments, or let's say chapter exams. Like you study a chapter and you have a test on it. That's a summative exam. And so lucky for you guys in the public school system throughout the United States of America, particularly in cities, Heerak Christian Kim, the Leonardo da Vinci of 21st century, has took upon himself the burden of solving your school district problems, at least at the academic level, because a lot of these schools are failing, have been failing for decades. That's why I decided to do this, to help, because that's the kind of person I am. I like to help people. I have a kind heart and I want to help people. I want to solve people's problems. That's why I'm running for U.S. Congress in Virginia's 8th District, Arlington, Alexandria Falls Church, and Fairfax County, because you need me to be a congressman to solve your problems. Look at all the things that are going wrong right now in Arlington, Alexandria, Fairfax County, and Falls Church. First of all, a lot of people are dying from COVID. That's a problem, I would say. If you're a person living in Arlington, that's a problem because you have a higher chance of dying than people who are outside of Arlington, right? I mean, do you want to have a higher chance of dying? Do you see my point? So it's a problem that needs to be solved. Obviously, the local leadership in Arlington, Alexandria Falls Church, and Fairfax County are failing because death rate is constantly going up, right? That's not solving a problem, right? There's bad leadership here right now. I mean, whenever you have a spike in death, you have to blame the leader because the buck stops with the leaders. What are you gonna do? Blame the people? Jeez, because leaders are supposed to lead people to do things or not to do things, right? That's what leaders do, right? That's why people vote for you, so you can lead them and their neighbors. But unfortunately, that is failing in Virginia's 8th District. Don Byer is failing in Virginia's 8th District. And that's why we have all these problems. Jerry Connolly is failing in Virginia's 11th District. Jennifer Waxton is failing in Virginia's 10th District. That's why we have the highest death rate in this area, because the leaders are failing. They want to blame you. They want to say, you're not wearing a mask. You're not doing this, you're not doing that, right? That's what Don Byer says. That's what Jerry Connolly says. That's what Jennifer Waxton says. It's always you. All these Democrat leaders think you're the problem, right? That's what the Democrat leaders say. You are the problem, right? They never take blame. Don Byer doesn't say Don Byer is a problem. Jerry Connolly doesn't say Jerry Connolly is a problem. Jennifer Waxton doesn't say Jennifer Waxton is the problem. It's always you're the problem, right? Right? All these Democrat leaders, that's all they talk about, how you're the problem. COVID is spreading because of you. That's what these Democrats say, right? And that's not leadership. Leadership is, and I'm writing my doctoral dissertation on leadership. Obviously, it's leadership of elementary school teachers by principle, but leadership is transcendent. Transformative leadership as a theory and as application can be generalized. When I say generalized, that means it can be applied in other areas outside of, elementary education, middle school education, high school education, pre-K to 12th grade education. That's the focus of my dissertation, principles in pre-K to 12 in urban schools. So yeah, you could apply this principle in other contexts, right? So I'm planning to go back to University of Pennsylvania and become professor of nursing, professor of education, professor of Jewish studies, professor of religion, so far. I may add other fields to it, but right now I'm going to have like joint appointment as professors in School of Education at University of Pennsylvania, which is a separate school, School of Nursing, which is a complete separate school, and the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences or College of Arts and Sciences. So 3 schools. I have triple appointments. Yeah, because I'm an expert in every single field. Yeah. So obviously Philadelphia public school system needs my expertise to elevate its urban education. So I mean, you know, University of Pennsylvania is right smack in the middle of a African American city. Well, actually, it's Irish African American because there's like 1 million Irish people, 1 million African American people. So it's like, you know, half and half. But anyhow, so that explains why I am in Kappa Delta Pi, International Honor Society in Education, right? I am the vice president of the Kappa Delta Pi and American College of Education. And our president is President Chen. Hi, President Chen. He's a good guy. He's a smart guy. I really like him. I like working with him. So yeah, hi, President Chen. Yeah, he's yeah, he's smart. Anyway, so let's go to the death figures because I know you're waiting for that. So yes, what we're fearing is true. The new normal is around 2,000 deaths per day. I mean, you know, a little bit under. So we had that yesterday. We had that day before. We had the day before that. So 3 days in a row, we have around 2,000 deaths. A little bit under that. So in the last 24 hours, we have 1,754 deaths. 1,754 deaths. Doesn't Harry look shocked? He just looks shocked. Like he looks like he's just like headlights flashed on his eyes directly from like 5 feet away. Doesn't his eyes look like dazed and confused? Yeah, he's still shocked. And we've been having this for 3 days, 1,754. Harry is totally shocked. I mean, you know, his head is like wobbling because he's so shocked. Yes. And so it's sad. It's sad. It's at this rate in 10 days, you have 17,540 deaths. In 10 days. 17,000. So we're going to break the 100,000 barrier. Probably by next week. Next week Sunday. We'll have like over 100,000. It's really sad. I mean, as you know, I'm predicting that United States of America will have over 1 million deaths by August 2020. That's my prediction. And I believe it's going to come true. I wish it didn't come true, but because of what's going on, I'm just doing simple math here. You know, I think it's coming true. And all the healthcare experts will have to revise their data based on what's happening on the ground. And I have anticipated this from the beginning. This is why I'm the Leonardo da Vinci of my of 21st century, of my generation, because I can anticipate things that mere mortals cannot anticipate. Yeah, this is why you need me in Congress. Oh, you know, I just put up a copy of the letter that I sent to Virginia Governor Northam, because as you know, and I've shared with you, Virginia Board of Elections said they cannot waive my requirement to submit 1,000 signatures by June 9th because they don't have the legal authority to do that. Because you know, as an independent candidate for U.S. Congress, I have to submit 1,000 signatures, which isn't that much. But Governor Northam issued a stay-at-home order on March 30th, and on that day, he said it's going to last until June 10th. And I need to submit signatures by June 9th. So on March 30th, I wrote a letter to Virginia Board of Elections saying you got to waive this requirement because Governor Northam issued a stay-at-home order from March 30th to June 10th, making it illegal for me to collect signatures from others. Can't knock on the door, that's illegal. So I can go door to door getting signatures while stay-at-home order is in place. So I wrote a letter, I didn't get a response back. I called, I left email messages and emailed. Then I sent another letter finally. Virginia Department of Election Chairman Piper wrote a letter back dated May 5th saying that he doesn't have authority to waive that. So I kind of put that up on my Twitter account as well. You could see that. Uh, so, um, so he doesn't have legal authority. Obviously, the top leader in Virginia has legal authority. Right? So Governor Northam. So that's why I wrote a letter to Governor Northam saying, as the governor of Virginia, you have the legal authority to waive my requirement for 1,000 signatures. So I sent the letter off, and a copy of the letter is on the Twitter page, Twitter handle Heerak for Congress, Heerak number 4 Congress. So go ahead and read that letter. And if you can, help me out here. I'm trying to help you survive COVID, trying to help your children survive COVID. The least you could do is help me out to be on the ballot on November 3rd, 2020. Right? I'm official candidate for U.S. Congress with Federal Election Commission. I'm officially registered. I've been since November 2019, and I'm officially registered with a United States House of Representatives Office of the Clerk as an official candidate for Virginia U.S. Congress. I'm as an official candidate for U.S. Congress in Virginia's 8th District. Yes, I'm officially registered with U.S. House of Representatives. And so only thing that needs to happen is for me to be on the ballot in Virginia because it's the state of Virginia. But the requirement is you can have 1,000 signatures. And it's impossible to collect 1,000 signatures with COVID-19 and stay-at-home order from March 30th to June 10th, right? So it is only fair that Governor Northam waived the 1,000 signature requirement for me to be on the ballot. I'm an official candidate, but right now I can't collect the signatures for Virginia's Board of Election to satisfy state of Virginia to be on Virginia's ballot. So, so I'm an official candidate who cannot collect 1,000 signatures, which isn't that hard to do, to satisfy Virginia state law, right? So it's a state law. So because it's a state law, Governor Northam could waive my requirement because it's impossible for me to collect these signatures, legally impossible. So I would encourage all of you watching this show to contact Governor Northam, write to him, call him, email him, and let him know. Twitter message him, whatever. Let him know that you want him to waive the requirement for 1,000 signatures for Heerak Christian Kim, so he could be on the ballot. The problem is, I'm independent running against Don Beyer, and Don Beyer is a Democrat. And, you have this old boys network among the Democrats, and so Don Beyer is running, and he's afraid, and he's like chicken. He thinks he's going to lose if I'm on the ballot. So, why else are they trying to block me out of the ballot box, right? They're playing dirty, right? Ralph Northam was a friend of Don Beyer. You saw them together on a TV program on COVID 2 days ago, right? They're like buddies, and they're trying to block me out of Virginia's ballot box because Don Beyer probably doesn't think he can beat me. And I understand why. I'm so much better as a leader than Don Beyer is, and that's why you're going to vote for me. And Don Beyer can see that. He knows that, so he doesn't want me in the ballot box. Deadline is June 9th. So, there's time, but it's time is closing in. So I do need your help getting this waiver from Virginia Governor Northam. I've also sent a copy to Richmond newspaper, and maybe they could help as well. Aren't journalists ones who want fairness and justice in the world? And it's only fair that my name be on the ballot, since Governor Northam is the one who issued the stay-at-home order from March 30th all the way to June 10th, the day after I'm supposed to submit 1,000 signatures, right? And that's politically manipulative, right? It's like intentional, right? It's targeting me, right? Because I've been running for U.S. Congress against Don Beyer since November 2019. Don Beyer knows that I met him at his town hall. I like the guy, but still, I think he's playing dirty. And unfortunately, Ralph Northam knows I'm running against Don Beyer, because I've been running since November. And so this is just 30, because I was Republican candidate until March. March, I declared myself to be independent. So Tom Byer realized, and Ralph Northam realized, since I'm independent, I have to collect 1,000 signatures for the June ballot box. I mean, June deadline, June 9th deadline. So Ralph Northam issued a stay-at-home order from March 30th to June 10th, the day after the deadline, so that I can collect signatures, because I declared myself to be independent candidate in March, right? So I was running as Republican all the way to, to February. Yeah, so after this video, just there's two videos that you can click on. Click on the one that's at the top and you'll see why I became independent in March. Yeah, so yeah, please write to Ralph Northam so that I could help you. So you gotta help me to help you, right? So yeah, but anyway, it's better if I could solve inner city public education problems as a congressman, right? Because congressman makes laws for the whole nation. So I have this research I'm doing now, which I can use to improve urban education in all 50 states as a congressman. So even in the field of like African American, Hispanic urban public schools, you need me in Congress to make policy changes at all 50 states. You see what I'm saying? And I know what I need to do. I'm going to save you from COVID, your children from COVID, but I'm also going to improve America's public education system, especially correcting inequity in education. Inequity, right? Because my dissertation at American College of Education is all about equity in education, right? How to make African American concentrated, Hispanic, Latino concentrated urban public schools superior. And so yeah, obviously you should all support me in this. I mean, American urban public education has been failing for decades. It'll continue to fail for decades. You need Heerak, Christian Kim, in U.S. Congress to correct this, or it's going to continue to fail for decades to come. So yeah, so there's an incentive for you. So the death rate is going up by around 2,000 per day. Confirmed cases are going up by around 20, 30,000, right? So yesterday was 1,389,935 cases. Today it's 1,416,528 cases. Now, I have some photos from Kappa Delta Pi annual convocation. That's where members, it's only open to Kappa Delta Pi members. It's a members only conference. That's what we call it, convocation. It's only for members around the world. And so we come and we share our research. And I presented my two different research on improving urban public education. Obviously, that's my focus. And those are going to be published in the near future. And so, I'm there, holding an Instagram thing. And next to me is a friend that I met, I sat with, next to her, like during a meal that we had. And so she's holding up a book she likes. I met a lot of good friends, this is the kind of place where you go and network, right? So, you meet people, you talk with them, and you get to know them, you can share ideas together to improve education. And the lady in blue dress in the middle, she's from Maryland. And she presented at this room where I presented as well. And it was kind of an interesting style. The way they did it is like, like speed dating. I don't know if you ever done speed dating. I've done that when I was at Cambridge in England. Like, basically you have like 3 minutes and the women are seated on the table. Like there are like 30 women, and then you go from table to table talking to each woman for 3 minutes. And they call that speed dating. That was a lot of fun. I've done that in Cambridge, and I think I've done that like in LA as well. But yeah, it was kind of fun, you know. But so it's not like that, but the tables are set up that way. You can spend as much time as you want. It's not 3 minutes, and you don't have to go sit and talk to everybody. So academics sit with their research, and they have like presentation stuff. So they present, like you have to give like a short presentation, 3 minutes. So I guess it's like speed dating in a way, summary, and then you talk to the people who are sitting in front of you, or person who's sitting in front of you. So it's like the effort that Kappa Delta Pi is giving to allow people to have one-to-one conversation experience, and it's creative, it's good. I've never done it that way before, presenting my research in that way, but I enjoyed it. So she was sitting right next to me in the other table, and she's from Maryland. And we tried to organize lunch, and we just, scheduling is really bad. And so we keep missing, like time to meet up for lunch. But yeah, maybe after COVID. Um, and, there are like educators there in one of the large group gatherings, and that's kind of fun. Today, I thought it would be nice to look at Asia and do comparison with what's going on in the United States. As you know, my theory, and this is Heerak Christian Kim's theory, is that COVID-19 is a next generation precision biological weapon of mass destruction that Chinese Red Army created to destroy United States of America, which is an enemy of China, economic enemy and also military enemy. Especially because we're competing economically and they're losing, and so my theory is that China has been developing this biological weapon for the last 2-3 decades, like 30 years, 20-30 years or longer, but they've succeeded. It's kind of like when we succeeded in creating a nuclear bomb. Before Germany was working on a nuclear bomb too, but they didn't succeed. So we created the nuclear bomb before everyone else, right? When no one had it. So that's what I'm saying. China created an advanced biological weapon that's a modified virus that could kill a lot of people, but not everybody in the world, just people that they want to target genetically, right? So they find like a genetic commonality in America and in NATO European countries that doesn't exist in China or Asia. So it'll kill a lot of people in America and in Europe because there are genetical commonalities that this biological weapon is targeting that Americans and Europeans have in abundance, either because of diet, what they eat, what we eat, or our genetic makeup. So more a combination of both, because you could genetically modify things to target things, right? So my theory is that this is a biological weapon, and I think proof is in the pudding. Because it started in China, it should spread all over Asia and kill everybody in Asia, but it didn't, because it's a precision biological weapon that is not meant to kill Asians, but just Americans and Europeans. Obviously, there's going to be exception. Nothing is 100% foolproof, so you have some people dying, but not many. And the proof is in the pudding. China had 84,025 cases, but only 4,637 died. India has 81,997 cases. Look how low the cases are, right? Because this biological weapon is not meant to infect and kill Asians. Death rate is 2,649. This is the whole time from November to now. In a country of 1 billion plus people in India and China. Pakistan has 35,788 cases, only 770 deaths. Singapore, look at this, whose Chinese makeup, they're mostly Chinese, right? So genetically, they're similar to China, and proves my thesis. 26,098 cases, 21 deaths. They have less than 1% death. They have like 0.1% death. Look at that. Because this biological weapon is meant not to kill Chinese. So obviously that makes sense, right? Bangladeshi is 18,863 cases, only 283 deaths. Yes, it's a biological weapon. That's my theory, and I'm being more and more convinced every day. And you should be too, looking at these figures. Yes, Kappa Delta Pi was in 2019 in Norfolk, Virginia. It's 3 hours away from Georgetown, and I had classes at Georgetown. Like I presented on Friday, and I had a class in the morning on Friday. Professor Schloss, I love all my professors at Georgetown. Uh, and Professor Schloss is one of these nice, like really nice professor who everybody loves. She bikes to to Georgetown. I mean, she's like so healthy, and her husband they hike, and she shares like photos from their hikes with us. It's kind of funny. I bet she's been to West Virginia and hiked there, like Neela did. I should I should ask Professor Schloss about West Virginia. I've never been there, so I don't know how it is, but I've heard it's beautiful. Uh, yeah, I should ask her, and get recommendations on where to go hiking and stuff like that. But because Professor Schloss is a big hiker, and she's like a genius, So my kind of a person, actually, I like geniuses. I like non-genius. I love everybody. I'm a lover of people. I love all people. So, but let me just tell you a little bit about Professor Schloss. She did her bachelor's of science in nursing at Georgetown. And I'm friends with several bachelors of science and nursing students, and I tell you that there are some of them who are like Professor Schloss. Obviously, they may squander their intelligence. A lot of people do not maximize. They're underachievers. Professor Schloss is not an underachiever. I tell you. So she did her bachelor's of science in nursing at Georgetown University. And then she went to George Mason University, the Master of Science in Nursing. And then she, uh, I think, started to teach at Georgetown after her Master of Science in Nursing at uh, George Mason. And then while she was teaching as professor at Georgetown, if you teach at Georgetown or work at Georgetown, you get like free tuition. So she started to do an MBA, Master of Business Administration, at the business school at McDonald School of Business, and she received her MBA from Georgetown University. Now she's doing her PhD at Virginia Commonwealth University. She drives there, and I think she just finished her. She finished something really important recently, so we congratulated her on that. And I think our doctoral dissertation is on pressure wounds, like pressure ulcers. I think that's what it is. Um, hopefully I'll be working with her closely in the summer because she's helping us with our exam study for clinical nurse leader. Like we have a clinical nurse leader certification, national certification exam in August that I'm planning to take. Like everybody takes it and everybody passes, right? And Professor Schloss helps us. She's really good at helping students. So I'm really looking forward to working with her on that. Our summer semester starts next week. So we start working with her, soon on that. So I'm looking forward to working with her on that, and also kind of talking with her about other things. But she's an expert on leadership. She did her MBA at Georgetown Business School, and she also teaches a leadership class to us. And it was an amazing class. And that's the class that I took in the fall, like leadership, because we're being trained to be leaders, right? Clinical nurse leaders. So Professor Schloss taught us how to be leaders. So we had this class on leadership, and my group was to present this group presentation that morning. And the morning that I had to present at Kappa Delta Pi Convocational Conference in Norfolk, Virginia. So I presented with my group, and we got A on it. Yay! Congratulations to all of us who got A on that presentation. And then I drove like a madman for 3 hours to Norfolk. And then I presented my research. And you see my fellow presenters there on the left-hand side. They are at Texas A&M University. I guess they call it Aggies. So both of them are Texas A&M University people. And I represented American College of Education, where I'm doing my doctorate. And they're doing their doctorate at, I think one is a professor. The one that's on the left is like a professor who teaches her, I think, is like guiding her dissertation research, if I'm not mistaken. And the one in the center is finishing up her dissertation. I think she has like dissertation defense or something. And so, yeah, so I think like both of them, you know, like the teacher student kind of combination, like presented their stuff. But yeah, anyway, I presented by myself. And so, you know, like, you know, you network, you know, I got their phone numbers. So if I go to like anywhere near Texas A&M, I call them up and, you know, meet for lunch, dinner. You know, that's what we do. You network, you get their number, you know, you connect when you're in the area. Yeah, you know, it's fun. You know, I like people. I'm looking forward to meeting up with them in Texas sometime. So yeah, so underneath them are other Texans, and they are at, I think, Abilene Christian University. I don't know if you know Abilene Christian University. I think it's in Corpus Christi, Texas. And I'm sitting there, the photo below, you know, on the bottom. I'm sitting there, you can see that, right? I would like by the Norfolk Pier at a restaurant. And I'm sitting next to a professor of education who is a Kappa Delta Pi advisor, faculty advisor. And those are students sitting across from the professor, who's the faculty advisor for Kappa Delta Pi. So they're undergraduate students, they're seniors. I think one's a senior, the other one is a junior. I think two of them are seniors and one is like a junior. So, no, actually, two of them, one is a senior. No, wait a minute, maybe both of them are seniors. And the one sitting across, like with the green, she's from Boston. I think she's at Boston University. Like she teaches at Boston University, something like that. And so, you know, so we all, you know, had lunch together, and we were talking about, you know, like they're applying for teaching jobs. So it was kind of interesting, and he's like their Kappa Delta Pi. You know, they were inducted into Kappa Delta Pi, I guess, a couple years ago. And so there's, I don't think they presented anything, but you know, there were some undergraduates who presented like poster presentation. Mostly undergraduates really can't. They don't. I mean, you know, I'm sure there could be, but mostly it's hard to see undergraduates do anything more than like a poster presentation. But you know, there were a lot of impressive poster presentations. But yeah, but you know, but I don't think they presented though. But anyway, yeah. So you know, but you know, a nice lunch. You know, conversation was fun. And on the picture next to that, next to the lunch picture, I'm having banquet dinner with. She's a professor in Tennessee. Was it Tennessee Central University? It's a state university system in Tennessee. She's taught for like 15 years. And she's single. But anyway, so, you know, we shared banquet dinner together, and she has a really nice Texan accent, you know. And I was just talking to her, you know, and I was like, you know, I like Tennessee. So, you know, I actually, I was hired by Nashville, what's the technical term? Nashville Metro Public Schools or Nashville City Public Schools, the main public school in Nashville, city of Nashville. I was hired to teach sixth graders, and District of Columbia hired me to teach at Savoy Elementary School, and the pay was so different. Nashville public school was going to pay me 40,000. I'm like, what? That's lower than what I get paid at Petersburg City Public Schools in Virginia. Like, I'll be taking a pay cut. That doesn't make sense to me, you know? I mean, I want to be in Nashville, Tennessee with all the country music singers. I had a crush on, you know, what's her name? Taylor Swift, you know, and I'm single, and Taylor Swift is Presbyterian from Pennsylvania. So I was thinking, like, if I could meet her once, I'll ask her out on a date. Obviously, she's beautiful, and that's what I do when I meet beautiful women. So if I could just meet Taylor Swift once, I would obviously ask her out to dinner, and she will probably say yes, because generally they do. And then we'll go for dinner, and then I'll marry her. So no, I have to. I'm gonna come out and be honest with you. You're like my family now. You watch this show every day, and so I'm just gonna share what I'm gonna be honest with you about it. So I had crush on Taylor Swift for the longest time. And I actually sent her a few years back. I actually was sent her like a Facebook message, So but anyway, yeah. I mean, yeah. But anyway, So I was like thinking, like, if I go to Nashville, I may run into Taylor Swift, and then I ask her out. We'll go to dinner, and then she'll fall madly in love with me, like most women do. And then, I'll ask her to marry me, and we'll get married. Yeah, but the pay was like 40,000. It was like lower than what I was getting paid at Petersburg City Public Schools, and I'm like, I should get paid higher. You know, like I should take a pay cut, right? And then I got hired at, so I heard back first from Nashville Metro Public Schools, um, and then I heard back from District of Columbia Public Schools, and they were gonna, pay me like 60 some $1,000, something around there. And I'm like, 40,000, 60 plus thousand. That's a $20,000 difference for same hours of teaching. Both are like inner city urban public schools, because as you know, I have a heart for African Americans. I want to rescue because I grew up in an African American neighborhood. I shared this with you if you see my episode. I grew up in Logan, Philadelphia, which is like 100% African neighborhood. I was like the only non-African American in my whole street. My best friend in my neighborhood was African American when I was like in 5th grade. And so, I have a heart for African Americans, so I want to like help African Americans. So I applied to an African American school at Nashville, and I got hired there. And I applied to an African American school, in DC. DC was 100% African. Nashville was more like 60% African American and like 40% Hispanic. I guess they have more Hispanics in Nashville. I don't know. But yeah, and Petersburg Peabody Middle School was 99% African American. So I like Hispanics too. When I was teaching at Wakefield High School, majority of my students were Hispanic. So so Wakefield High School is in Arlington, Virginia. It's like a mile from where I live. But anyway, yeah, because I live near Columbia Pike, which is like where all the Hispanics are, Latinos. And I look Latino, so I fit in. But anyway, yeah, so I ended up going to Washington, D.C. Sorry, Taylor Swift. We could have been married by now. I feel bad because like she could have been the love of my life. She's Presbyterian. We have the same religion. her father and mother are Presbyterians. My father's a Presbyterian minister. Both of my grandparents are Presbyterian ministers, and she's from Pennsylvania, which is like my state where I grew up. Um, like, and I'm sure we know like some common people if we talk long enough. But oh well, that's life. Yeah. Oh well. Sorry, Taylor. Love you. But anyway, yeah. So so Tennessee. So she's just really nice. I want to see her again. So if I go to Tennessee, I'll visit her. Yeah, I'm a licensed teacher in Tennessee too. I'm a licensed teacher in Alabama as well. People in Alabama wanted to come and teach there. Like I anyway, yeah. But the lady above, the Asian woman, she's Chinese. Like she's Chinese from China, and she started her own company, like education company in Palo Alto, California, integrating technology with education. And so she was kind of, kind of selling her product to all the educators. Yeah, we became friends. We said, why don't we coordinate? Because I started a company in New York and New Jersey, a long time ago. I was a CEO, president, founder, and it was like a learning center. And, it was like 90% successful in elevating C students to become A students, or F students to become like A students in a few months. And so, I talked to her about that. We're thinking about maybe coordinating, and we still may. I got her phone number. We communicate sometime. So, there's so many things to do. When I become a U.S. congressman, I'll probably like bring her in because her company is expanding aggressively throughout the United States. She has some good ideas. I mean, I think there are some weaknesses in certain areas. I didn't want to say it because we just met for the first time that day, but we did talk for a long time. So we we could work on that. Lion King musical. Have you seen Lion King musical? Oh, if you haven't seen it, watch it. I mean, you can watch it on Netflix. I think they have a musical. Yeah, The Lion King. I saw it in London because I love musicals. I like in London. I go to West End and watch musicals. My favorite is Les Miserables, spelled Les Miserables. It's about French Revolution. Oh, I love that. I love that. Especially when they say, "Who am I?" But anyway, yeah, you have to see it. You could also see that uh, on uh, on Netflix, and that's what I think Russell Crowe is like a main character. His new movie's coming out. He's gonna have like a premiere on July 1st. Russell Crowe's new movie. Yeah, that was like the big news today for movie lovers, and I love movies. So yeah, so yeah. But anyway, yeah, it's a downer that movie theaters are all closed. But anyway, yeah, let me get a sip of Diet Coke. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, watch Russell Crowe. I think it's Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe and Les Miserables, Les Miserables. It's like a movie but musical made into a movie. The center, I am there with all the Africans. I think even the white guys from Africa, like South Africa. Yeah, all of them are from Africa. So they're Kappa Delta Pi. I think they're all professors in African universities like Kenya, Sierra Leone, uh, Zimbabwe. So they flew over to Kappa Delta Pi Campo, and they presented their research. So I like African Americans, but I also like Africans. Did I tell you? Yeah, I told you. My cousin is a missionary in Sierra Leone. He's been missionary for like decades. Basically, after he graduated from seminary, he went to Sierra Leone to be a missionary. And he's been there all his life. Well, when there was a civil war, he went to Ivory Coast. And then, and he finally came back to Sierra Leone when civil war ended. But yeah, so he what he does is he's go to village to plant churches. Yeah, and like the Juju man, and like some of people who helped him got killed by Juju man. Juju men are these like witch doctors. they put a curse on you, like with their black magic, and you drop dead. Yeah. I mean, my cousin didn't drop dead. Holy Spirit protected him. But like people that were helping him out, like Sierra Leone people who were helping out, who were, weaker in faith, that they doubted. You know how Peter, he was walking on water and he doubted, and he started drowning, and Jesus had to pull him out. Well, my cousin is not Jesus, so he can't pull people out when they're drowning. um, yeah, only Jesus can do that. So like his people who work for him, they doubted, they had weakness in faith, and they died by these black magic spells. You can't doubt Jesus because you're going to start sinking in the water when you're walking on the water, right? So they died. Not all of them, but some of them. Those who are weak in faith. Yeah. So anyway, I mean, there may be a lesson there for COVID. Yeah, maybe. But anyway, so black magic is real, people. Yeah, voodoo dolls in Haiti, those work. You think that they don't? They do. Black magic is very real. I mean, my cousin tells me, my nephew and nieces tell me from Africa about all the black magic they see and all the things. It's real. Yeah, it's very real. I mean, my nephew is traumatized by black magic because he sees so many people die from juju man. Yeah. I mean, they put a spell and you drop dead. I mean, how? Yeah. I mean, boom. Some people drop dead right away. They just drop dead. Yeah, my cousin was telling me. He's seen it. I mean, some drop dead later, but some people just drop dead right there. I mean, I don't know what kind of curses Juju Man puts on. I don't know if he times it. He says, you will die tomorrow or you die now. I don't know how that works. But my cousin, my niece, my niece too, but my nephew was telling me, like, yeah, I've seen people drop dead. So yeah, that's I don't know. After he told me that story, I'm like, Sierra Leone must be a scary place. I've never been to Sierra Leone. I meant to visit my cousin, but plane tickets like $2,000, $3,000, at least when I checked it. I'm like, man, who has that kind of money? But did I tell you I did the next best thing? I dated a girl from Sierra Leone. She's like 100% Sierra Leone. When I was at Virginia State University, I'm working on a doctorate at Virginia State right now. I'm on leave of absence. But I'm working on administration, doctorate on administration. So yeah, so it's more like, administration, to be an administrator, like, yeah. So it's a doctorate in administration. So I have 4.0 there, which is straight A's. Yeah, so I was like working on my paper at the computer lab. Should I tell you this story? Yeah, I'll tell you. You're like family. Why should I not tell you, right? No, that's a different girl. Sorry, I'm getting my dates mixed up because I dated more than one African American at Virginia State University. So that's a different girl. Okay, forget the story. I'll tell you about that story some other time. But the Sierra Leone girl, oh, she's beautiful. I saw her. Oh yeah, so yeah, now it's coming back. Oh, it's coming back now. Yeah. So I was going to my class and I saw this girl and she's like beautiful, right? She looked like Naomi Campbell. You know Naomi Campbell, like a supermodel? She looked like that. And I was like, whoa, she has the same build. She's like thin, like 110 pounds, like 5 foot, 5 foot, 7-ish. So maybe, I mean, I don't know how tall Naomi Campbell is. So she's like 5'7", and she's really pretty. And I said, oh, I better talk to her. So I went and talked to her. She talked to me, and then she was, we were talking, and she didn't say that she was from Sierra Leone right away. I found out later, but she was pretty. But I found out later, like her mother's a nurse, and her father is a businessman living in Henrico, Virginia. and she has cousins. No, they're all 100% Sierra Leone. She has cousins in Prince George County and Montgomery County in Maryland. I don't know if she has cousins in this area in Virginia, but she just mentioned her cousins in Montgomery County uh, and St. George's County. She may have cousins in Philadelphia as well. I'm not sure. But she has like several cousins Sierra Leone. They're all 100% Sierra Leone, like by blood. And so she looked, she's pretty. And so I talked to her, and I found out she majored in education at Virginia State University, which is a HBCU, uh, HBCU, historic Black College and University. Yeah, historic. So it's a historic Black college and university, like Howard University in Washington, D.C. is an HBCU. Uh, and she was an undergraduate major in education. She was focusing on special education. And she was a senior. So I guess she was like 21 or 22 years old. And she was, I met her in the fall of her senior year, and she was looking for, no, she graduated a semester early. Yeah, yeah. So she graduated in 3.5 years. And she was an honor student, like she was ranked two, the whole education department for bachelor's of education, bachelor's of science in education. She was ranked number two. She's pretty and smart, right? And so I got her, asked for her phone number, I got it, and then I called her up, and then we went on a date at the Cheesecake Factory. I love jambalaya at the Cheesecake Factory, and I love the cheesecake. So yeah, I took her out to Cheesecake Factory. It was a nice dinner. I found out I got to know her better, and then I found out she was like 100% Sierra Leone. Like she was born in Sierra Leone, so her mother and father immigrated. But was she born in Sierra Leone, or was her older siblings born in Sierra Leone? Can't remember. But she's very tied to Sierra Leone, and she created like an organization to volunteer in Sierra Leone schools. So she goes there like in summer and helps out. She's like really, really like a good-hearted person, good Christian, and yeah. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, she said she was gonna come up here. Uh, she was planning to apply here, but kind of lost touch with her, after I came up to DC. Yeah, I guess I should call her up. Well, when I go to Richmond, maybe, if I could, yeah, maybe I should. She's really nice, and she's an educator. She has more heart for Africa, but she wants to help African Americans as well. She's like, special education. So yeah. So but she's not as much into urban education as I am. She's more into like improving schools in Sierra Leone. So she goes there during summer and do that. That's like her thing. But yeah. So anyway, yeah. So, but she didn't come to this conference. I guess I don't know. Do they have a chapter of Kappa Delta Pi at Virginia State? They should, but maybe not. I don't know. I nobody from Virginia State was there. It's like in Norfolk, Virginia, so they may not have a chapter. It's like anything. Like you got to create a chapter. It's an honor society. Not all universities have an honor society. So anyway, because I think a faculty advisor has to create it. So maybe I should hit up my professors at or my friends, who teach in undergraduates at Virginia State. Yeah, maybe I should ask them. I don't teach at Virginia State. Hey, it's not like I was dating a student. I was a student. I still am a student. I'm just on a leave of absence from there. Yeah, I'm a doctoral student. She's a bachelor student. We're both students. Now she's not a student anymore, but students can date each other. There's no problem with that. You know, I'm not in the faculty of Virginia State University, so yeah. So don't look at me like that. He's staring at me like with those judging eyes. Look at his eyes. Those are judging eyes. I tell you, judging eyes. Yeah. But anyway, not that I care. I don't care, Harry. I don't. He looks mad. Harry's mad that I said I don't care. But anyway, yeah. Uh, anyway, yeah. So underneath that photo, see, there's a poster, right? And she's deaf. You know, like she's really smart, and I really liked her poster child, what do you call that, poster presentation. So we talked a lot about it, and she's deaf, and so she was sharing with me about how she overcame her deafness. And I'm a licensed teacher, special licensed teacher. I mean, I'm a licensed special education licensed teacher, and I studied for and passed the hearing impaired specialization. So I'm also hearing impaired special education, so categorical special education, hearing impaired. So I could teach hearing impaired students, you know, at Gadulet University, which is here, you know, school for, university for deaf students. She was telling me that like one of her friends goes to Gadulet University. So we talked about that too. Um, and yeah, next to that in the red top, she's from Florida. So you know, like I make network, get to know people. And underneath that is a she also had a poster presentation. And the reason the picture is big is because you may know her. She's from Fairfax County, and she's studying for education at Virginia Commonwealth University. So she's a sophomore. Yeah, she's a sophomore. I think she's a sophomore, she said. So we chatted, you know, we talked about her poster, and then I was trying to invite her to, she specialized in math. So I was trying to invite her to, you know, come to Virginia Council of Teachers of Mathematics Conference, which was going to be in her university, VCU, in 2020. So I talked to her about that. She said she will. I should call her up. I mean, right now, you know, it's like hard to meet anybody, but um, yeah. But anyway, yeah. So once COVID is done, you know, I have all these people to meet for lunch or dinner. And on the top, next to the screen, she's a student at Liberty University. So I got to meet a lot of education majors at Liberty University who were inducted into Kappa Delta Pi at Liberty University. And she was sharing with me, like, she's a Christian, obviously. She's at Liberty University. But she said her mother and father are not Christians. They're Jewish, but they're not Christians. But she converted to Christianity. Uh, and so she's a Christian. She was telling me her sister isn't a Christian, and her sister wants to go to nursing school. So, you know, she and I, we shared a meal together. So she sat next to me. So we talked a lot, got to know each other. She's nice, you know. I should call her up too. She says she often comes to DC with her mother and father. Yeah, maybe all four of us could meet up for lunch or something. Yeah, I should give her a call and say when. Well, right now in COVID, you know, you can't do anything. Well, this was like in October 2019. So it was like a few months ago. So, and then in November, I had, you know, if you see yesterday's show, in November, I had to present my paper. Did I present at NCT? Well, you know, oh yeah, I'm a committee member of Standing Committee of Global Citizenship. So we had our executive board meeting. So I was like really busy, you know, just kind of preparing for NCTE, which was in November. This was in October. So, and then I announced to run for U.S. Congress in November. So I've been very busy. So I haven't been able to meet up with anybody that, well, So I haven't really been able to meet up with people that I should wanted to from from Norfolk. I mean, it was like what, several months ago. It hasn't been long. Yeah. So, and then what the photo below me is she is from West Virginia. That's why I played a song for you, West Virginia. And she's a senior, uh, majoring in education, studying to be a teacher. So she's graduating in May. Um, Congratulations! Congratulations! And I wanted to visit her in West Virginia. I really like her. So I was going to visit her in West Virginia. Obviously, I have her phone number. Um, but I declared myself to be U.S. Congress, candidate in November, and I'm like running around like a dog trying to campaign. So I'm like campaigning every day since November, like every day, basically. So I don't really have time to go anywhere, really. I mean, I told you about how I canceled my trip to Poland, right, to campaign. you know, uh, my fun trip to Poland for 2 weeks, and I campaign every day of those 2 weeks. I've been campaigning, and so I was all set to clinch the Republican nomination. Sorry, Jeff Jordan. Sorry, uh, Mark Elmore. I know you guys think you guys are going to win, but I've been campaigning. I was going to clinch that Republican nomination at the delegate meeting, but I ended up not declaring or registering with the Republican Party by the deadline. So watch the video at the end of this video, the one on the top. Just click. It's like 3 minutes. You'll see why I did register with the Republican Party, and then I decided to run as an independent in March. But anyway, she's great, beautiful, isn't she? So like, I hit it off with her. I mean, it's a 3 day conference, so there's only so much you could do. But I went to visit her in West Virginia, and invite her to DC. I actually invited her to Hoyathon 2019. But she couldn't come, obviously, because she it's like her final year, and she's like teaching and stuff like that. But anyway, she's a nice person. Look at that smile. So, yeah. So anyway, yeah. I mean, hopefully, and I was trying to encourage her to come and be a teacher at District of Columbia Public Schools. That she would move here to teach there. It'd be like kind of convenient. But yeah, but we'll see. I mean, as you know, I'm a bachelor, and so she's probably watching this show. Maybe I shouldn't share so much. Hi. Well, now you know how I feel. Oh well. But anyway, yeah. What can you do? I mean, so yeah. But anyway, she's wonderful. And so and I'm a bachelor. And I'm praying for God to send somebody to me, so our family. Whoever loves me and I love her, we get married and start a nice family. And I'm keeping my options open from 18 to 26. So, she's above 26. I mean, not over 26. She's over 18. She's like 22 or 21. I mean, she's a senior. I think she may be 21. But, when she graduates, she'll be 22. Like, she's probably 22 now. Yeah, something like that. But anyway, congratulations on your graduation. I hope you come to District of Columbia Public Schools or Arlington Public Schools or Alexandria City Public Schools or Fairfax County Public Schools. Yeah. So it's only June. I mean, it's only May. So, but anyway, yeah. But yeah, I love to visit West Virginia. Just kind of heard it's so beautiful. Nila was saying how beautiful it was. She was telling our court members how beautiful it was, and it was like, ah, I want to go there too. And I could see her. She's in West Virginia. She's University of West Virginia. So, but anyway, yeah. So hi to everybody. I'm sure all of you are watching this show because everybody's watching this show. If you come to Virginia, make sure you let me know. Oh shoot, did I let everybody know that I changed my number? Oh no, I gotta make sure everybody has my new number. Yeah, I just changed my number in. I wasn't gonna change my number because I like my number. You know, I had my Richmond, Virginia number because I lived in Richmond. And I taught at Petersburg Public School, which is like right next to Richmond. So I had an 804 area code, and I kept that. But then I started running for U.S. Congress for Virginia's 8th district in November, and it's kind of strange to have an 804 number when you're running for a congressman position in Arlington, Alexandria, Falls Church, and Fairfax County, where area code is like 571 or 703. So I said, oh, I better change my cell phone number because like people were like, why do you have an 804 phone number? I mean, I could always explain, but it just looks weird. So I changed my number like December, I think, or November or December. I declared like towards the end of November, so I think I changed it December. Yeah, so I gotta make sure everybody has my new number. Oh no. That explains a lot. Because I mean, I've been so running around, campaigning, and I have like literally like hundreds, thousands of people I need to let. Oh my gosh, I don't want to do that. That's like going to take a whole day. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, they should have like a yeah. But anyway, yeah. So that's I gotta write down like I'll remember. So yeah. Anyway, I'm glad that you shared this time with me, and you got to meet some of my friends. And who knows, maybe my future wife. I should be saying like those things. Don't drive people away. I don't know. Maybe not. I mean, I don't know. I mean, women I date seem to like me a lot, so they generally like want to get married before I do. Like they start talking about marriage after like a few dates. People are like, yeah. Anyway, I'll tell you stories about those another time. But but yeah. Anyway, yeah. You know, yeah. I don't know, maybe I told you too much about me, but I mean, no, there's like tons of more stories I can tell you. I mean, I have like thousands and thousands and thousands of more friends I can introduce you to from my past, present, maybe in the future too. So tune in every day so you don't miss out. And I hope you enjoyed this show and learned something new. And I created this show to help you survive COVID, you and your family. So I hope that that's going to help you. And all of my friends who are watching, I hope this will help you and your family as well. And, I look forward to seeing all of you tomorrow. So tune in tomorrow. And I hope that you'll be well and that your children will be well, your family will be well. See you tomorrow.